Hey y'all, it's Saida. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. You're listening to part 3 of getting into veterinary school, the MMI interview. In my previous video, I went over each experience section that you can add to your application. I'll tag it above in case you missed it. But now we can go ahead and talk about the veterinary school interview process, specifically the MMI format interview. This can be helpful for pre-vet students as well as pre-med students, since a lot of medical and veterinary schools are switching to this style of interview. This is growing in popularity by admissions committees because it can test an applicant's true values, their critical thinking, and even their knowledge of the field. And I wanted to make a video about this because a lot of people do say that you can't practice for the MMI interview, but I beg to differ. I believe practicing is essential to any interview. And of course, you can't really practice these innate values and beliefs, but you can practice your interview skills, your communication skills, and just know what to expect before you walk in the room. So without further ado, let's get started. What is the MMI interview? MMI stands for multiple mini interviews, and basically it is what the title pretty much says. You'll be going through a series of mini interviews lasting from about 5 to 7 minutes. Every school is different, but probably no more than 10 minutes in each room, and you'll have multiple of those. So you'll go in one room for about 5 minutes. After the time is up, you'll go into the next room, etc. And you're given about 2 minutes to read a scenario in front of each room before you enter and begin your interview. Each scenario on the card will be different. One can be actor-based, another can test your knowledge of the field, or it can ask you the traditional interview questions, or even something like an activity, a puzzle, working with another interviewee, and it can be pretty much anything. So that's why they love the flexibility of the ways that they can test you. They will not ask you medical questions, not even your chemistry, biology, math classes, nothing related to school. They know that you are not doctors yet, so they don't expect you to know this. They will expect you to know the field that you are getting into. The interviewers sometimes are told not to ask follow-up questions for your interview. So if the question seems like a yes or no question for you and you just say yes or no, and you just sit there in silence for 7 minutes, that's going to be a really awkward 7 minutes. So always try to answer the question thoroughly, not just yes or no. And typically they're not yes or no questions, but if you do happen to run into one, just remember that they may not ask you why or how or what is your thought process. That should be all on you to do. And if they do ask follow-up questions, then they can dig more into it rather than just how or why. And you just look like you can explain your thought process and your thinking skills much better. I had the MMI interview, and it got to be fun for me at the end. And I know that's hard to understand because you're probably even more stressed because it's a new type of interview, and this is, you know, your med school or vet school interview. But trust me, it will be fine. You will get through this. So now we discussed what the MMI format interview is. So next we'll go over my first tip for you guys, and my first tip is to do your research. And this is because you may be asked questions that are about the field that you are going into. So I'll just use veterinary as an example. So you should be aware of any ethical related issues, any current issues in the animal science or veterinary field. And you can do this by signing up for different magazines, and a lot of vet schools do have these like news pages that you can sign up to, and they'll give you like the weekly updates on what's going on in the veterinary field, because they do like to know that you are aware of the field that you're getting into. For example, like they may ask you about antibiotics in poultry, or they may ask you about the dairy industry and why these cows are not putting on weight, and is that ethical, unethical? Maybe what would you do about it? So you should have a well thought out answer for this, and if you don't know what they are talking about when they say poultry and antibiotics, then you won't really have a good answer. So it's best to just do your research on the field, maybe even look up some different legislation regarding animals, and it's best to just stay up to date with the news because you are the future advocates of your field, and it just is better for you and the field you're going into if you know and you're a well-rounded advocate so you can fight for your cause, whatever that may be. My second tip for you guys is to practice, practice, practice. I mean your communication skills and speaking professionally, and practice getting your thoughts in order. Think of certain life experiences. There are a lot of practice prompts for you guys that you can practice with, and just remember not to memorize these specific prompts. They want you to be able to explain why you feel a certain way or how did this make you feel. They want to see if you're empathetic. They want to see if you're compassionate with your clients, because when you are a doctor one day, you will have to explain to clients what is wrong with their pet. They also want to know that you can listen. Really do your part and listen, because being a doctor is not only being able to explain your thoughts, but being able to listen to your clients. A lot of the times they do have specific situations when there's maybe an actor and he may say one thing in there that they want you to catch, and it might be a personal thing, it may be a hard thing to bring up, but they want you to be able to catch it, because again, when you're a doctor, you're gonna have to pick out the pieces of what they say, and maybe there's that one little thing that they say that is so important, and that will help you come to a great treatment for your pet, or if you're medical, for your human. You know what I mean. If it's an actor situation, treat it like if they're a real person and you are an actual doctor and you want to know why they feel that way. Ask questions. It will help you get probably to that underlying message that they want you to catch. Practice makes perfect, and again, just your normal interview skills. Don't be like swinging in your chair, or have someone watch you, see what their input is. Record yourself, see what you look like, see if you're looking away a lot or if you're messing with your hair. I tend to mess with my hair, so there is a way to practice for this interview. My third tip for you guys is to be confident. But in this situation, it's so important because, for example, if they ask your stance on a certain current issue and you pick one way, and they like to debate with you and see if they can persuade you to change your thoughts. And most of the time, there's no right or wrong answer. So whatever you choose, just stick with it, defend it. Don't think that they want you to say something else. They're just testing maybe how you can defend your argument. Just be confident. And during my interview, they tried to do that to me, and I believe by sticking to my values and my beliefs and my stance, I was able to show that I can stick to my values even when the tables are kind of turning. And I know it's really hard to like think that way, but no, they're listening to what you are saying, and they are just testing your debate skills. Because I can think of probably a lot of situations where your client may not agree with you. Being able to maturely defend your argument is so important in medicine. So be yourself. Whatever you feel, you are probably not wrong, especially if you don't view yourself as an unethical person. Then just be able to explain why you feel that way. My last tip for you guys is to relax. Just relax, because where you were able to get is so awesome. You got an interview to the school you applied to, and getting an interview in these schools is so hard to do, and you should be proud of what you accomplished. And all they want to do is get to know you. Just prove yourself and be confident. Of course, it's nerve-wracking. I was nervous. I'm probably one of the more nervous people, but you just have to remember that they want to accept you at this point. They just want to get to know you. And by being confident, being yourself, and being able to defend your argument and work in a team, and you know, this is stuff that you do every day. You have interactions like this every day. So you have been practicing for this your entire life. And I just hope that you guys are able to relax after watching this video. I hope we gave you a lot more insight about the MMI interview. Also, if you are having trouble deciding what to wear for your vet school or med med school interview. Dr. John with Vet Vlogs has great advice for you there. I'll tag it here. I wish you all the best of luck on your interview, and let me know about your MMI experience. Remember, don't say the exact questions, they can revoke your acceptance. You can tell me about your interview without revoking your acceptance. If you have any other questions about the interview process, feel free to also comment, let me know below, message me on Instagram. And if you enjoy this content, please give a like, subscribe to my channel, and follow my Instagram. Also, don't forget to turn on those notifications because I do have another video that I will be uploading soon about being proactive, and that will be, for now, my last video on the Getting into Veterinary School series. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.